The very first time I hiked up to that cliff and saw that view, the very first thing that came to my mind was, a cabin belongs here. I need to build a cabin here. Logistically, I knew it would be incredibly difficult, but as long as it was possible, I wanted to do it. This coming May marks 2 years ago that this cabin build would begin. Steve would help me with the basic foundation, getting the posts bolted into bedrock, and from there it was my baby, my project, my vision. My goal was to build this cabin by myself, as much as possible, so that I could push myself and really learn the art of building something livable. Along the way, I started to build a shed to store tools and materials in, and along that way, I decided I should make it something I could camp in as well, being that this location is 1.5 to 2 hours away from home, depending on the season. Not only did I want to build this cabin by myself, I also wanted to mill as much of the lumber myself at home on my sawmill from the trees from our land, and I would say that about 90% of the cabin is made up from lumber I've milled myself. To say that this has been a challenging experience would be entirely accurate. I wouldn't call the actual build that difficult, but it's this location that's really catching up with me. Let's say this cabin takes me 3 years to build, start to finish. I feel that I could honestly say 2.5 of those years were spent making my materials and transporting them out there and down that 500-foot steep mountainside to the cliff location. I've been pushing pretty hard these past couple of months to make significant progress on this cabin, and I can say I truly am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now, but I'm honestly also feeling at rock bottom with it at the same time. I've had some really hard times lately, to be completely honest, but the exciting thing from that experience is that I feel, while it's stripped me down, taken swipes at me and chunks out of me, it's really shown me what I'm made of. My building skills have greatly improved, my character has become more well-rounded, my confidence is greater, and I've really pushed myself out of my comfort zone. This will prove to be an essential tool for not only future builds that I tackle, but also for our ocean crossing adventure coming up in a few weeks' time. So in this video, here I am wanting to build a side deck on the cabin. I also want to jack up the one back corner that is settled a little bit and is a bit low. I know that I can get this job done in a day, but I also know that it's going to take me a day to get my materials out there and down the mountain. This is just frustrating, to be honest, because I have to basically spend a day doing nothing but busting my butt as a mule, and I don't even get to see any results at the end of the day. Instead, I go home, spend a day recovering and licking my wounds, and then I'm able to go back out the following day to get the job done. I've been dealing with a bit of a problem with one of my ankles, and parts of the trail and area around the cabin site where I continually have to walk on are eating away at me. So now that the ground was more thawed, it was high time I fixed them up a little bit. Now that I had all of the deck boards down there, I needed to hike back up and drive down to our main cabin where there was a pile of pressure-treated 2x6s that Steve had purchased last year and never used. So they were up for the taking. I figured rather than buy more wood, I would just use those. Although it was more work and more time out of my day to go and get those boards rather than just buy some, it made the most sense to me to use them up. I did spend a solid day's work getting all that lumber organized and on site, and I was back in a couple days to start the actual deck build. Welcome to deck day. The next thing I'm going to do is put a deck there. Now, it can be argued that I should do other things first, but I think everything needs to be done right now. Because I need to go in and out of the cabin through the sliding glass door is the only way I can get in now. I basically am using this walkway all the time when I'm out here. I just got here. It's about 10:30. And I grabbed my truck jack because I thought if there was ever a time that I was going to try to jack up the corner, which it's down maybe an inch, this corner right here, that now would be the time that I could do it. Now I did this, was it last spring I did it? And before, it was just the floor still, so there was nothing, no timber frame up or anything. And I just used like a lever, and used the trees and long levers to hoist it up and then put a rock under there. But it's settling again, and I think it's just because we didn't dig down deep enough, just onto the bedrock. My truck jack is so tall that it would have to jack it up in the middle of the cabin more than at the back. And it's really only the back corner that I want to lift. And I imagine if I try to put that jack under, there's that stump in the way too. It's gonna have to go here. And I don't know if that's going to do what I want it to do. I just want that corner up. So that's the only spot it can go. This is in the way. If I could get it right here, I think that would help a lot. So I think I'm going to chainsaw this stump out a little bit. No. I'll keep trying. This kind of gives it a nice flat surface. Although, okay, I don't know why I didn't think to try to dig this out. I'm gonna try to dig this out first. I really think that it's best if I can get it as close to the point that I want to raise as possible. So I'm gonna get a shovel and try and dig this out a little bit. Okay, that worked. It's in here, it's relatively flat, it's stable underneath. Whew, okay, here goes. Stop procrastinating. Oh darn, I forgot the handle. Shoot. I'm gonna have to go up and get that. Shoot, I forgot the T part. Oh, why did I forget that? I saw it too. I didn't think I needed it for some reason. I might have to hike back out and go get that. Okay. Safe working load, 1,400 kilograms. I asked Steve, I'm like, do you think my truck jack will work? He's like, okay, yeah, sure. I have no idea what the cabin weighs. It's definitely doing something. I've pulled out a few of the rocks that are kind of broken. Just going very slow, concentrating. Might call that good. Might actually add something here. Eventually that might rot, but wouldn't hurt for my lifetime. I think it's like 8 inches. And then I just found this block that's a little over 8 inches. Okay, so I split it with the axe so that it's not so bulky, and I trimmed it a little bit. Now it's a little loose, of course. A little shim there. Ouch, my knee. Oh. Dang, hold this thought. Oh, my knee. It's doing something funny. Ow. Okay, I think I have it as good as I'm gonna get it. I didn't actually come here to spend the day jacking up the cabin. I came to spend the day building the deck. So I'm behind now. Felt like I should do this, even if it makes just a little bit of a difference. I mean, Steve and I don't have kids, so this really just needs to last as long as I'm physically able to get out here. Thanks, Toyota. Now, as we know, there's a bunch of different ways to do things. I sort of have had a couple of different plans in mind for this deck. I was hoping that these 2x6s that I got from down at the cabin that Steve had purchased and didn't end up using for the trail, I was hoping they were 10 feet long. They're only 8 feet long, so I have to work with that and piece it together, the deck, a little bit differently, but tool belts. Been through this before. One of the things we talked about was, like, for this part, the deck is already on, and I'm adding foam to the outside and on top of here. And then everything is to the outside of this and on top of the deck boards. But we had talked about whether or not I would doubled this up. So there's 2 of these, and then I would run my foam down a little bit further, like foam and siding and the other layers. So I'm just kind of at the point where I'm like, do I add one more, or do I just build it? Do I just continue with the way things are like this? You know, which is then I would put the deck on, it's flush with this, and then I build everything out from that. I suppose the only thing is that if ever this needs to be replaced, you'd have to dig away at everything to replace the boards, because the siding and everything is going to come over top. Or you would just say, screw it, cut all that, like let someone else deal with that after I'm dead. So I decided to double it up, only because of the way the boards are going on. They're going this way, so that means all of the screws are going to be along here, and that means none of the screws will be accessible if, say, one board does rot. If I have a double layer, that makes it easier to get like to one board and replacing one board if I ever would need to. And I think I have the material, so I may as well. I'm also extending it a little bit past the end for plans for extending, or like I'm gonna kind of go up towards the shed, I think. And I'm just putting screws in to hold it for me, and then I put nails in. I haven't done this for a while. I forget what's the most efficient way to put these in. All right, I was gonna do this at 5 feet, but it looked visually like 6 feet would be better. It's gonna go out like that because you'll walk typically from that way. So it'll be wider there just because the boards I have are 10 feet. And this deck is 4 feet. So that gives me 4 feet and then a 6 foot offcut. So I thought I would go 4 feet out to 6 feet. And then however I blend it into up there into the shed is another story, but I couldn't put a joist hanger here. I measured for things to run flush from here, and this joist hanger would stick out. So I just put on a piece of board under here to kind of help this. One of the things I also did was I lowered it slightly so that the deck boards will ever so slightly be pointing down rather than level, so that the water will drain away. Someone's thinking. I should have double checked before I doubled those up to make sure that I have enough boards. One of the boards the other day that I delivered everything fell kind of partway down the mountain, so there is one more. I'd have to go hike up and get it. But should have looked at that. I thought I had a lot more. I have a lot of deck boards. So I'm out of boards. I have this one piece left. So I'm trying to figure out, I have one more board. I have to go hike out and get it. So I will do that, but I'm just trying to play around with how I want to do this. I was gonna, at the 6 foot mark, bring it out, but maybe I will leave this piece like that and go out from here. Just because I'm running out of wood. Anyway, I'm just kind of playing around with some ideas, but let's go get that board, unfortunately. I actually have some cedar I could use. It was a leftover deck joist. So I had used cedar that I milled for the deck out front, and there was one extra piece. Well, I screwed up, so I had a leftover board. I could use that too. It's like 8 inches though, not 6. But anyway, let's go get the other board. So when I had slid them down the stairs are way up there. No, it was after, when they're at the bottom. Anyway, I picked it up and tossed it towards the platform, and it just slid on some snow and then slid all the way down there. This is like the steepest part right here. It's probably like a 60% grade right here. Hello, little board. Okay, here it is. So I have that, and then basically this piece. And I have that piece of cedar, my other deck joist, that I will cut down to 6 inches, and I'll use that here. And that will give me just enough, I think. One of the reasons why I don't like to really make plans is because I often change them. Like, I'm looking at this now going, maybe I'm just going to keep it to 4 feet. Can you see that? Maybe I'm just going to keep it 4 feet rather than having it jut out like that, because really it's low enough that you can walk on. My thought for that was that from the trail, it would allow you to kind of walk onto the deck, but you still can at 4 feet. And then I'm going to add on to this deck, which is kind of why I've extended it, and I'm going to extend it out over that way to build it up to walk to the shed. I'm going to have to join these two together. I just spent some time digging all this out. Yeah, 5 after 3, so I better get going. Cut it. There's a big root here for this tree. That's one tree I'm wanting to keep. So I'm going to try to leave that and just put a rock under here. Square this up a little bit. I wonder what I should title this video. Let's get jacked and decked in a day. Has a nice ring to it. Now, I was originally only thinking to put a support right here. But I think I might add a little set of stairs to go down to the burning barrel. So I think, and because I have this seam here, even though I put a little mending plate on the inside, I think I should go here and here, have two rather than one. And I've got a big chunk of cedar for that. It's 4 o'clock. I gotta hurry if I'm gonna get this done today. I'm going home, I'm not staying the night, so hopefully I don't have to come back tomorrow. Still frozen a little bit there. I'm struggling, running around trying to find a rock. My back is killing me. I can't find a rock. Like, there are rocks around. I would just have to go foraging for them, and they're far up that mountain. And I just don't have time to do that and then get this done. I'm trying to fit these rocks here. You know, I want a really nice, big, wide, flat one, but I can't find the right one. Running out of time, running out of time. Not enough rocks, sand. I know, don't judge me, it's not ideal. I can tidy things up another time too. I actually had a railway tie plate in the cabin. I wish I would have used that on the other one, but anyway. It feels pretty solid. I might add another one somewhere in and around here, maybe down the road, not today. Just gonna put this on. I had to make a decision about this situation and how much out I wanted it to be, so I just tacked one of the deck boards on, so that's true 1 inch, which is the foam insulation that I'm doing. So I'm gonna tuck the foam in. The deck boards will go up to there. This is just a guide. Now the only drag is that I kind of have to cut every piece now at 4 feet. I will use the leftovers, which is gonna be 6 feet. I will use them for the other section, I guess. So I basically just have to rip everything to whatever this measurement is. 44 inches. It's all about the decks, no stairs. It's all about the decks, no stairs. I'm just saying to myself, this sure would have been nice to have this a long time ago. Oh, isn't that the way?